Welcome to the Faculty Awardee Recognition Luncheon. As you all know, we had to pause for a year due to COVID. Now that is a common refrain, right? But we are pleased to be back together again and recognize our outstanding faculty. The faculty members we will recognize today were selected in the spring of 2020, and their recognition has been a long time coming, so we're grateful to be here today. You might not be aware, but this is a fairly new event hosted by the Office of the Provost. When Ro DeBrezzo presented this idea to the Arkansas Alumni Association and the Provost a few years ago, I doubt she expected to be on the receiving end. Actually, I think she set it all up. Thank you, Ro, for your wonderful idea. And thanks as well to the Office of the Provost and the Office of Faculty Affairs for providing this opportunity to recognize the achievements of our outstanding faculty. I'm going to ask them to stand and receive applause for their work here. When our alumni talk about their experience as Razorbacks, outstanding faculty are always a part of that discussion. Your contribution as teachers, mentors, and research leaders are crucial components to our university's success. So we're honored to be able to recognize 4 outstanding members of our faculty today. The Faculty Distinguished Awards were established in 1961 to recognize faculty for outstanding teaching and research. In 1969, a third category evolved to recognize faculty members known to be strong researchers and excellent teachers. And finally, in 2013, the Alumni Association Faculty Distinguished Awards added a Rising Teaching Award to the list of honors. So, without any further ado, let's get the recognition luncheon started. Kathy?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Charles. It is kind of interesting to be in this situation where I have a script in front of me. I don't know if someone knows me as someone who goes off tangent quite a bit, but I am a historian after all, but I do want to welcome you all. I think that this is a great opportunity to celebrate our faculty, and especially to have department colleagues celebrate their faculty and the great awards that they've won. They were recognized on October 14th at the Town Center event by the Alumni Association. Some of you may have been there at that event, but again, this is a chance to recognize them on campus in a more informal event with department colleagues. We're going to recognize the awards in service, research, and teaching, as well as the Charles and Nadine Baum Faculty Teaching Award. I want to mention as well, and I'm actually going to remove my mask if no one minds, but I want to emphasize that all these faculty were chosen in a very competitive process that included committee members from every college as well as student government. These are very prestigious awards. There were very nominations, so kudos to all of you as winners. I also want to mention that the selection committee, and I participate as an ex officio member, a very quiet, don't say a word, but I can recall 2 years ago how competitive the pool was. So remember that when you're recognizing your fellow colleagues as well. So let's get on with the actual awards presentation and the wonderful videos, and I welcome my boss and my colleague, Provost Terry Martin.
Our first award is the Faculty Distinguished Award for Service, which recognizes, rewards, and encourages faculty members whose service activities are particularly successful. With us today to present the award for service is Dean Brian Primack. Brian, please come forward.
Okay, welcome everybody. As you very well know, this year's award goes to Dr. Ro DeBrezzo, who first came to the University of Arkansas in 1983. So 1983, the top of the charts, it was Olivia Newton-John, right? The interest rate was 11%, right? And I think 1983, wasn't that the year that Al Gore invented the internet too? Who knows? In any case, I am digressing. Let's get back to Ro. She came here at that time to be an assistant professor of physical education. But already, immediately, her leadership was unmistakable, and soon she was program chair, she was interim department head, and importantly, she became the director for the Human Performance Laboratory, which is still very active and quite strong today. She also became the co-director for the Office for Studies on Aging, which was way ahead of its time. That office was and still is very interdisciplinary. Yes, it is about the research, but in so many ways, it really exemplifies what we should be doing as a land-grant flagship institution, and it is really working with the community. In 1992, she co-founded the Teaching and Faculty Support Center. So many of you know about the TFSC and how it helps faculty members to be more effective, but again, she was way ahead of her time. She was already envisioning the TFSC to be led by research faculty who also had a passion for teaching at a time when a lot of these things were separated from each other. In 2012, she became the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs, and then soon after that, she of course served in her long-term and very effective capacity as Vice Provost for Faculty Development and Enhancement. And let's not forget that while all of this was going on, she also had a remarkable career in biomechanics. Dr. DeBrezzo's research expertise is all about performance metrics for women, which was a huge gap in the literature because all of the research had been done on men. So it's not so surprising that she won the research award from the Southern Academy of Women in Physical Activity, Sport, and Health not once but twice. And she has also been nationally inducted as a fellow into the American College of Sports Medicine in 2012, which is a very, very distinct honor. For all of this, and for her passion, friendship, and love for the university, we are delighted that Ro DeBrezzo is receiving this award. Come on up, Ro.
Of all of the things that I did and all of the roles that I played on this campus, I identify with none of them more than just being a faculty member. It's my identity. It's what I want to do well. It's where I think my calling was and where my true service was. You know, when I think about memories at the University of Arkansas, I mean, I am just flooded. To pick one or two would be really, really difficult for me. I have, and I know that this is overstated and used quite a bit, but I have truly, truly been lucky and blessed that I've just gotten to work with, you know, some of the finest faculty and staff anywhere in the country, no doubt about it. There is no doubt that our faculty, our staff, and our students can compete with anyone, anywhere, and I really, really mean that. Obviously, it means quite a bit to me. You never start a task thinking you're going to get an award, but when you're at the end of your career and the university and your colleagues recognize some of what you did, it's a big deal, and don't let anyone tell you it isn't. I'd like to thank the Alumni Association for the award, but I'd also like to thank them for all the work that they do with staying in touch and staying connected with people. I think that's really rather impressive. You know, I think when you have a career as long as mine, that you always get in trouble when you try and acknowledge a few people because, in essence, you will forget other people. So I hope that the people that know, that should know because I did it at the time. But if I had to single anyone out, I think I would really like to thank Chancellor Emeritus Dan Ferrida, because he took a chance on me long before I proved that I deserved that chance, and I will forever be thankful for him. And then, of course, CMP, ti amo. rose between two thorns. So they threatened us 3 minutes and that's it. Most of you know that I'm Italian and first generation, but I don't know that many of you know that my grandmother actually lived with us until literally the hour that she died. And because of that, there were lots of Sundays, and every single holiday, the meal was at our house. And I bet you didn't even know that St. Lucie was a holiday, but we celebrated it in my house. And for Thanksgiving, we would start with homemade raviolis, and then we would bring out a turkey and all the dressings and side dishes that went with turkey. And I, with all the kids, we would all be outside, and 10 minutes before the meal would start, my mother would call us in, and we'd come in and wash our hands and sit down to this feast. And I remembered when I was in grad school that there were some of us that had no place to go, so I decided, I'm going to cook Thanksgiving dinner. And I did, and all these people that had no place to go landed at my house, and it took me hours, and we finished the meal in 15 minutes. And it was anything but a feast, I will tell you that. And I was completely exhausted. So I learned then, and I have never forgotten, two things. First of all, if anything looks easy, there's a good chance it isn't. So keep that in the back of your mind. And the second thing that I learned is, if it is worth an accomplishment, if it's worth a celebratory note, if it's a job worthwhile, there are an awful lot of sous chefs that don't get any of the notice that they deserve. So my advice to you is surround yourself by people who are good cooks, and I hope that I have said it at the time to the people that I should have said it to, but there's a good chance I didn't. So let me say now, thank you for helping me cook my own Thanksgiving feast.
Congratulations, Ro. The Faculty Distinguished Award for Research recognizes research or creative activities, and particularly significant national or internationally. Presenting the Research Award is Keisha Walters, Department Chair for Chemical Engineering.
Well, I want to welcome everybody here who took time out of their schedule to recognize these outstanding faculty. Today, I have the pleasure and the honor to recognize Dr. Greg Toma. He's being recognized for Faculty Achievement Award for his outstanding research activity. Greg, we won't name how many years you've been here, but it's well over 25 years. And we've been constantly delighted and overwhelmed by the quality of research that you've been able to achieve during your career here. Something that you may not know about Greg is he has had essentially not only one, but two successful research ventures. So about 10 years ago, he decided he was going to change his research direction, completely start over. And when he did this, that's something that's difficult even for an assistant professor to imagine, starting their career and being successful at it. And he decided, hey, I've been great in one field, I'm going to change directions. So a little over 10 years ago, he decided he was going to enter a new field. Specifically, he wanted to influence something that touched all of our lives. And in this aspect, he took on the idea of life cycle analyses for products, specifically foods such as beef, rice, chicken, and milk. And so he has, in that period of time, been able to achieve international recognition in such a short period of time. He has, in the last 10 years, had over 35 peer-reviewed papers. He has given talks, well over 35 talks at international conferences, and brought in over $15 million as either PI or co-PI on this topic. When you look at the letters that he received for this award, it really blows me away. And I know this was mentioned earlier in the discussion, but the selection for these awards must have been very, very difficult for the committee, and I applaud them, because the support letters that I saw for Greg for this award were some of the most outstanding I have seen in my entire career. And I don't say that lightly, but kudos, Greg, for those achievements. His achievements of not only academic, but of practical impact. They touch all of our lives and make an impact across the state of Arkansas and the nation. And right now, what he has been able to do in the last 10 years is put the University of Arkansas on the map in terms of being an international leader in this area. And so for those reasons, I want to acknowledge Greg myself. And before we move on to the video, I just thought it was perfect mix that this was an award from the Alumni Association. So some of you may not know this, but Greg started out his academic career here at the University of Arkansas, first with his BS degree, and I won't say the year, so we'll just leave that there, and then with a master's degree in chemical engineering as well, before moving on to do his doctorate work at LSU. And so we are so grateful that he came back to the University of Arkansas to start his career here and be so successful and train others in that. At this time, we're going to pause, and there's a video that we want to watch.
My primary area of research for the past 12 years or so has been sustainability evaluation of food production systems and food systems in general. What are the ways in which the food industry can improve the environmental sustainability of our food system and simultaneously provide a healthy and nutritious diet to the U.S. population and frankly to the world? Probably the most important way in which my research has impacted my teaching is through bringing in examples of the research and telling students about the work that I'm doing and how it connects to the topic that we're studying in the class. You know, I think the most important thing in picking a student is not their GRE score or their grade point, but the most important thing in choosing a student to work on a project is, are they really interested? Or do they have a passion for the topic? The Distinguished Alumni Award for Research is an incredible honor, and I have been awed by my predecessors and their accomplishments, and so I find myself in incredibly good company, for which I'm not certain I'm deserving, but I'm genuinely appreciative of the Alumni Association for giving me this award. To the alumni scholars in the audience, congratulations on being here and the awards that you've received. And if I had one piece of advice, it's unfortunately somewhat hackneyed, but follow your passion. Try to find something that you love to do and do it well. And if you are able to do that, then going to work won't be working.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations, Greg.
Wow. It's an incredible honor to receive this award. Thank you to the Alumni Association and all of the work that everyone did to bring this to fruition. I know it's been a challenging 18 months. I would be remiss not to mention that I could not have been as successful as I have been without the support of my wife, Eileen, and my family. Just undying support from there. The other point is what Ro said, get the right cooks in the kitchen. I've been extremely fortunate to have an excellent cadre of students and staff, particularly over the last 12 years, but even before then, when I was doing also environmentally related work, but with a different, entirely different crew. And my mentors as well, Louis Thibodeau, who was here at Arkansas and then moved to Louisiana State, and I followed him for my doctorate. And K.T. Valsaraj, who was a postdoc here at Arkansas and then also moved to LSU. And here at Arkansas, Buddy Babcock and Jim Turpin were incredible mentors that helped me develop my research program and enabled me to be successful. And then the last thing I'd like to say is that the Department of Chemical Engineering is, hands down, the best place to work anywhere. We have great colleagues, tremendous support, and without that atmosphere, it would be much more difficult to be successful. So thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Congratulations, Greg, and thank you, Keisha. The Faculty Distinguished Rising Teaching Award recognizes and rewards a faculty member who has demonstrated distinguished results early in their career and who holds the position of assistant or associate professor. The Faculty Distinguished Teaching Award will be presented by Lilette Verma, Department Head for Biological and Agricultural Engineering. Lilette.
Thank you, Terry, and welcome everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce one of my colleagues and the newest, not the newest, but one of the newest hires that I've had the pleasure of hiring in my department over the last 20 so years that I've been here. And Ben Ranco has been a joy to see grow and flourish as he joined our faculty. Just to tell you a little bit about Ben, he did his PhD from the University of California at Berkeley in 2009 in civil and environmental engineering. Before that, he had his BSc in the same department at Princeton and a MS from California, Berkeley. He did a postdoc in climate sustainability and soil science from University of Hamburg in Germany. And we were fortunate to be able to hire him after a national search in August of 2014. And just to let you know, in 6 years, last year, he was granted tenure and promoted to associate professor. The nice thing about Ben is not only he has excelled in teaching, but he has done a wonderful job in creating an enviable research program. And in the 6 or so years, he won one of the national awards from the American Society of Engineering Education in the Biological and Agricultural Engineering Division with the Early Achievement in Education Award. He was recognized by the College of Engineering for Excellence in External Research Awards. He won the Distinguished Rice Research and Education Team Award because he's working in the important area of rice production and greenhouse gas emissions and how to reduce and mitigate climate impacts. And in 2018, he won the College of Engineering Rising Teacher Award. Already, just to give you a brief list of accomplishments, he has a book chapter, he has multiple invited seminars on carbon cycling and climate smart management. He has externally funded research and education projects, over $1.3 million. He won the very prestigious NSF Career Award in 2018. And he has gotten externally competitive funding from USDA and private companies like Unilever. He's studying the impact of rice production in the state of Arkansas and nationally and worldwide, while trying to reduce the use of water, a very precious commodity, and as I said, minimizing the greenhouse gas emission. In terms of teaching, what he's been really awarded this award, he teaches a core undergraduate course in our program on sustainable watershed engineering with excellent student evaluation results. He has also developed a graduate course on modeling environmental biophysics. He has surpassed enrollment multiple times for the May Intersession Study Abroad program in Ghent, Belgium on sustainability in the Euro food systems. He has mentored 2 postdocs, and one of his postdocs is now a faculty member at UC Davis. He mentored a senior design team for our undergraduate majors that won a national award on low-impact development implementation in Fayetteville in City Lot number 55, and that project was actually implemented. He applied for and received funding from the UA Honors College to support both a group and 2 individual research projects that center around quantifying the ecosystem services of a green roof on campus. His service contributions are in the UA Interdisciplinary Graduate Program of Environmental Dynamics. He's a founding member of an emerging cross-campus LGBTQ faculty-student mentoring program and is the founding advisor of this group, plus the student group of OSTEM at the University of Arkansas. And he's a very strong supporter of inclusion and diversity. So it's my pleasure to present to you Dr. Ben Ranco. Let's watch the video.
I've been a professor here at the University of Arkansas for 7 years, and it's been a great experience. I've enjoyed learning about biological engineering. In our department, we say that that's a mix of sustainable food, water, and energy systems and the ways that we can engineer them to be better. The most rewarding part about teaching is watching somebody understand something. So people are really open at that moment, and you can really see, we call it the aha moment, and they really, now I get it, it's just a really fulfilling thing and that also teaches me a lot too. I understand what has been the stumbling block. How did I teach it in a way for them to get over it? And then watching them really understand something is really powerful. What I would hope that they remember from me is a real desire to help them learn a topic and to also help them map out different possible futures for who they are. I think I help them think about the trajectory, one of the possible trajectories of their life. One of the great joys of working in Arkansas is the diversity of the landscape. So while I live and work up here in Fayetteville in these beautiful Ozark Mountains, I do a lot of my research down in the row crop region east of Little Rock, and I work in the rice fields, help farmers develop sustainable irrigation practices and farm production techniques. And that's also been the source of a lot of great memories for me, driving back from east of Little Rock and the flat region of the state, looking at the sunset as I come up over and into the Ozark Mountains. It's really a beautiful feeling to be talking about science with my research group, reflecting on the things we've encountered that day, and be driving back up the hill to Fayetteville. It's really an honor to have come to a place I'd never visited before, set up a professor position and a life, and to be recognized as somebody who's trying hard and trying to teach these students. It really is meaningful, and it helps me really feel the support of the community of the university. Campus, the alumni, the faculty, it has been as warm a welcome as I anticipated from the reaction I got on the first day that I arrived here. So it really helps me feel like, part of the Razorback family.
Well, thank you. It's great to feel the supportive environment. It's almost impossible to thank the department head that hired you in any proper way. Thank you, Lilith. Thank you to the upper administration. You've really created a nurturing environment to be a rising teacher, and it's certainly not something I could have done without the support of the university and the campus. Teaching is hard. Teaching is not easy at all, and I've always struggled with it, so it feels really special to be recognized for the achievements I've had in the classroom and in the other kinds of outreach and education activities I've been a part of. And I don't think teaching is going to get any easier. You know, we have a lot of opportunities, also challenges as we diversify the classroom, as we bring in students with a lot of different backgrounds who are also facing a much less certain life ahead of them. I think there's going to be a lot of challenges related to sustainability, climate change, the way our society is structured, and so on. One of the things I want to encourage in the classroom is for students to always be curious, and so I would hope that if my students walked across campus today in this beautiful, sunny, windy day, they might not just enjoy the weather, but wonder, why aren't there more wind turbines around here? Why aren't there solar panels? When we talk about soil erosion, why do we focus so much on water erosion and not wind erosion? You know, kind of just think about the landscape around you, and as they think maybe about how to engineer those things so that they could be put in place here, are they really sustainable? Are they supporting all communities in the state equally? Are there people that might be left out or brought in to make a more just and sustainable solution for the society that we live in? So thanks a lot for the award. Stay curious.
Congratulations, Ben, and thank you, Lilette. The Charles Nadine Baum Faculty Teaching Award. This award has been given since 1997 to recognize outstanding teaching. It is given to the faculty member whose status is full, university, or distinguished professor. Joining us today to present the Charles and Nadine Baum Faculty Teaching Award is Dean Todd Shields.
Thank you, Provost Martin, and thank you everyone for being here today. It is my great honor to introduce to you the winner of the Charles and Nadine Baum Faculty Teaching Award. I'm a big believer that angels do come into our lives and teach us the very things we need to know, often at the very times that we need to know them the most. And Jeannie Wayne is that type of a teacher. I could tell you about the thousands of lives and families Dr. Wayne has shaped and positively changed, but Jeannie is so much more than even all that. She's a teacher in all aspects of her life, in and outside of the classroom. 21 years ago, I became the chair of the political science department, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. Being the consummate teacher, Jeannie not only taught me about the logistics of managing a department, she taught me about the values and leaderships in all aspects of my life. Without any apparent benefit to her own, she spent hours teaching me, listening to me, allowing me to complain, to vent, to cry, to grow, and to learn a whole lot. I remember Jeannie asking me extremely difficult questions about how I was leading And the department was going through a very difficult time at that moment, so I wrote these things down in my journal, and I know Jeannie will be humble and go, I didn't do that, but she absolutely did. She would look me in the eyes and she would say, are you serving others or are you serving yourself? Are you really listening to other people or are you justifying your own positions? Are you hiring people who are better than you are? Are you developing them? Are you promoting them into higher positions? Those are the ones that I really had to struggle with, because often the answer wasn't what I wanted it to be. She's an unbelievable teacher, and her courses on Arkansas history are in a class of their own, pun intended. She teaches her students more than incredible lessons, just like she did with me. She teaches about values, and she teaches about life. Jeannie Wayne is a paragon of what a teacher, a scholar, and an academic should be. I'm not saying that this angel walks on water, but I am saying she comes pretty damn close. Please join me in watching this video of a woman who always have a special place in my heart.
I came to the University of Arkansas to accept a position in the Department of History as the Arkansas historian and as editor of the Arkansas Historical Quarterly and secretary-treasurer of the Arkansas Historical Association. You know, a little Arkansas girl gone to California and stayed on the West Coast for 13 years altogether. What would it be like to come back and start teaching Arkansas kids? I'm an Arkansas kid. You could take the girl out of Arkansas, but not the Arkansas out of the girl, so I was ready to come back. In my opinion, a great teacher is someone who brings not only knowledge and enthusiasm to the classroom, but the capacity to meet students where they are. I usually have a classroom of students who are all over the map. You know, their ability to interpret information and do analysis and think critically, and to recognize that and to meet them where they are and to help them to get where they can go. That's I think what makes a great teacher. The Charles and Nadine Baum Teaching Award is the most important recognition I have received in my career. I live here. I live in this department and this university. I walk into the classroom. Every time I walk into the classroom, I try to bring my A game. And this reward tells me that I managed to bring my A game sufficiently to be recognized for it. Thank you. Thank you also for all that you do to promote the University of Arkansas and to keep up with our students. The Alumni Association and the other efforts on the part of the History Department and the Fulbright College to keep up with students often offers the opportunity to in unexpected ways to find out that much later that they learned something meaningful in your class and appreciate it. Can I take this to the bank? Well, I really appreciate your introduction, Todd. You really do go on, young man. But I do appreciate it, and I won't deny any of it. So I was that girl who left Arkansas with Arkansas in the rearview mirror, going to California, and I spent 13 years out there getting my education, including my PhD eventually, and I thought that was the world. I thought that was my future. And sometimes you have to return to where you started to find what you were looking for. And that's what happened to me. I'm so honored to be standing here today and so grateful to the Alumni Association and to the many friends and colleagues that made this moment possible. I did not do it alone. As a newly minted PhD in 1990, I came into the Department of Outstanding Teachers, but I was just learning how to be a teacher. I found my way to the Teaching and Faculty Support Center, which was the brainchild of Dan Ferreter, Ro DeBrezzo, Paul Cronin, and let me see, who else? Who am I forgetting? Wally Cordes, the great Wally Cordes. I'm especially grateful to the guy who hired me, Elliot West, who has achieved many teaching awards of his own. He's been an inspiration and continues to be. And to Tom Kennedy, the next chair I served under, who was known to demonstrate an advancing crusader as he charged across the room with a rolled-up set of maps as the spear. And there are different versions of how that particular charging ended. I think it's all apocryphal, but you can imagine. There was in one version, there's an open window. That's for another day. Then Dan Sutherland, a Yankee who dared to teach Civil War in the South, but did so with great good humor and authority, although those of us who know him know that his jokes were often a little bit corny. And then a series of great chairs followed Dan, including Linda Kuhn and Kathy Sloan, who were enduringly patient and supportive. And I take a lot of that, by the way. I'm especially grateful to Calvin White, who is also an award-winning teacher, and Jim Gigantino, who I believe was the chair who put me up for this award. Calvin and Jim allowed me to embrace an opportunity to work with Tesseract to develop an online history game that won the Silver Award in the International Serious Play Awards competition just this year. I also want to thank my current chair, Lawrence Hare, who is also an innovative teacher and unfailingly patient with me, and he knows what I mean when I say that. The BOM Award is given to faculty at the most advanced level, which I think is a nice way of saying the older faculty. But I want you to know that I am so jazzed about winning this award and about working in this new teaching medium, gameplay as a way to teach, that I'm not winding down. In closing, I want to thank all the colleagues I've had many hallway conversations with about research and teaching. Charles Robinson, who came to the department, well, we had to sort of snag him and drag him away from Houston. He came to give a talk, and we said, this guy, we got to have this guy. He's not done too badly, as it happens. Patrick Williams, Mike Pierce, who just this morning showed a document to me that I'm going to use in my next class. It's so good. So we learn from our colleagues, right? Trish Starks, Rick Son, the list goes on, and you know who you are. So I want to thank you all so much. Thank the Alumni Association, thank Kathy and the Provost's office for putting this on today, and thank my colleagues for being an inspiration and a teacher to me. So thank you.
Congratulations, Jeannie, and thank you, Todd, for introducing you. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I will turn the program back over to Kathy Sloan for her closing remarks.
And I'll make remarks short, but I think there were several takeaways, kind of words of wisdom that I heard from all of our awardees today. Be yourself, follow your passion, be inclusive, thank the people that helped us along the way, both family and colleagues, and of course think about students as well. I do want to mention that we'll be putting out the call for the 2022 awardees this spring. So think about colleagues, talk to your chairs and others about who to nominate, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. Oh, I should mention, thank you, Deb. She's pointing to we do have lunch in the back. And so if you ask for like a vegetarian or a vegan lunch, non-dairy, et cetera, they're labeled vegetarian back there, but otherwise, please grab your box lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. It's beautiful out there.